what's up, guys? This is Brian at Whisper Status 74. This is a 4K Blu-ray review of The Joker. It is unbelievable, amazing. Have a great day. It's really that good. I love this film. This 4K Blu-ray review is going to cover the picture quality, the sound quality, as well as my thoughts on the film as a whole, its direction, its theme. There will be some spoilers, just discussing the different scenes. 4K Blu-ray reviews are difficult on YouTube as copyright has gotten very tough. So I can't show you any clips. Typically, I would walk you through the entire film. So I'll keep this as short as possible. You could have watched the beginning of this video and just popped in your disc and been done. I watched this in the theater at Dolby Atmos IMAX. I will start doing reviews either at the theater or the minute I'm done. I'll be doing, or done watching the film. I'll be doing all kinds of different content, but I'm going to be doing movie reviews as well. So IMAX Dolby Atmos. Projector at my home at 175 inches with a sound bar at 1080p. LED HDR10 with 7.2 surround. Dolby Vision on an LED 7.2 surround. Which is downsampled from Dolby Atmos. I don't have Atmos at my home. My room isn't big enough. I love this film. I love every aspect of this film, and was nervous when it was coming out. When I heard that it was announced, I didn't know Joaquin Phoenix would be part of it. There was a lot of rumored actors to be part of it, and we're going to cover my thoughts on the film. We'll cover picture quality first. This is one of my favorite 4K Blu-rays. It's up there with the very best of Dunkirk and, you know, all the other films that we love so much, that it just has that feeling of why you want 4K. It's when you watch the 1080p transfer, which is still phenomenal. When you're sitting there watching this, you're like, yes, this is why I'm into this. And I think when you're watching 4K or you're watching anything home theater, if you can sit back and say, wow, this is why I spent this money. This is why I do this research. This is why I have this screen. This is why I listen to the surround. This is why we geek out over this. This is that movie. And it has no reason to be. With its art direction, the feel it's trying to convey, it has every reason to be a grainy mess. Even though it's 5.1K and it's downsampled to 4K, but it's a true 4K source. It's shot digitally. It's a modern film. Its aspect ratio is nearly full screen, which we all love. It is beautiful, but it has every reason for when we see films in IMAX and bring them home. A lot of times we see that they're grainy. There's filters. Things get diffused. Things are too saturated. This movie has every reason to be that way. Every reason to be similar to the movie that I compare it to, which is Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro, which is ironic as he's in this film. This movie has that feeling of Seven, that world, that hopeless world. It's conveyed perfectly. It's a small film. It's a dialogue-heavy film. It's close-ups. It's close. The talking is intimate. The action is subtle. So going in to see this film, I was all superheroed out. Anyway, being a big comic book fan, I wasn't even looking forward to it till I heard that he was attached, and I was blown away by it. So picture quality-wise, the movie is flawless as far as I'm concerned. Its resolution is evident. The typical things we talk about, clothing, facial hair, gray hair, his hair, the texture, the room. The picture quality is so good that it engulfs you. It makes you feel like you're there. You add that in with his performance and the soundtrack, and you feel hopeless watching it. It's kind of one of those movies where you feel like you're wearing the actor's skin. You feel awkward because he's awkward. You feel hopeless because he's hopeless. Yes, I get very, very into my movies, but the beginning of this film, the way it's shot, the way it's filmed, it's so drab, but the colors pop. The colors are muted. It covers everything. It just makes you feel whatever the shot wants you to feel. You know, on the subway train, it's just the way it builds. It feels like the picture quality builds with it. It's that good. The sound effects, everything thumps, but it has where you feel it. It feels appropriate, almost to where you don't even notice the surround sound, but it's there. It doesn't overpower it. It definitely accompanies it. The soundtrack reminds me of The Shining at times, with the thumping, and it just carries the menace with it. It really just, the movie is phenomenal. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than it's absolutely gorgeous. Dolby Vision is phenomenal. HDR10 looks fantastic. I do give the edge to Dolby Vision. The regular Blu-ray looks phenomenal. My favorite scenes in the film where Dolby Vision is apparent. The flickering lights, in the offices, in the comedy clubs, in the apartments. Like the movie Seven, the surroundings feel dirty, feel lived in. Everything it doesn't feel like a set. The area feels alive. The city feels small. The entire community of this film feels small. It feels like everyone. And very few new films can actually convey that. That's my biggest gripe with new films. This movie does that. You feel like you live in that area and you want to escape that area, and you feel his awkwardness. Picture quality, the Dolby Vision is unreal. HDR10 looks unreal. The reflections off of the car, the smoke, the fire, the subtle, even the lights you see here from the makeup room, all that stuff pops. But it is HDR at its best, where it's not just, popping detail. It's just the way the colors and everything engulf and give you that depth. That's what HDR really is about. It's not just about blinding lights and flames and explosions. That's here too. And the scene where he's in the car, highlights everything that character is feeling at the moment. The soundtrack, the looks of the film, it makes you feel what's happening on screen. And I know I'm all over the place. His performance is off the charts. I mean, off the charts. It looks as good as Revenant. It looks as good as Dunkirk. It's one of the best looking movies I've ever seen at home. And like I said, it should have a crazy grain structure. It definitely does a lot of depth of field, as you can see here, with where his face, every detail of his face, no matter how close, I am literally 2 feet from a 75-inch screen. The depth of field makes the close-ups pop. They're some of the most detailed I have ever seen, ever. And it's so, so impressive. The film is heartbreaking. Like I said earlier, it makes you feel like you're him. You feel awkward. You feel bad. You feel embarrassed for him. There's a cringe aspect of it. When he's getting attacked, you want him to rise up and be that menacing character that we all love so much. And to see it go there a little bit and then retreat, to see him take the entire film to get there, is an amazing payoff. And the film just made me feel completely satisfied. Doesn't need to be a sequel. There doesn't need to be more. It's standalone. It's that good. HDR, like I said, it's there, it's present in every scene. Those of you that like the bright spectral highlights will have this here. It'll be more subtle. It'll be more in the background. It'll be more in the flames. There's not a lot of huge explosions. The action is very, like I said, it's more like Crazy Taxi, the video game, Taxi Driver, where it's building. The entire film is building. It has that feel. He makes this character his own. His body, how thin he got, how wiry he got, to be such a weak-looking character and then to convey such menace later is really amazing. The soundtrack accompanying it reminds me of The Shining. It just has that thumping that The Shining had. It really does convey the feeling of the entire film. I was really blown away by every aspect of it. There's not much more I can say about it. I was so shocked at how good the film was in the theater. And not doing a review on it then and having to wait for it to come home, there's so many other things going on with content and things that we see. It was like watching it again for the first time. And I'll leave you with this. Sound quality is fantastic. Picture quality is some of the best ever. But the film itself, to watch this movie 4 or 5 times, I have not felt that about a modern film in many, many years. And Joaquin Phoenix, unreal. Really, really amazing. I wish they would do more stripped down, character driven films or shows like this about our favorite villains. It doesn't have to be godlike. It doesn't have to be special effects and explosions everywhere. Give me this intimate portrait any day of the week. Give me the slow burn of a film like this. And to me, it's a 10 out of 10. It's a must buy. And it's something that you have to own. If you even don't like superhero films, you like films like Seven, that's what this film is. Joaquin Phoenix, the Joker, absolutely phenomenal. Great HDR, great picture quality, great soundtrack, and great sound effects as well. I mean, it really, really was impressive all the way through. I loved it. I'm Brian at Whisper Status 74. I know this 4K Blu-ray review was all over the map. Thank you so much for being patient with me, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.